What if Frankenstein wasn't the monster? No, really. What if the guy we always called the mad scientist was just a very damaged man with unresolved daddy issues, a questionable skincare routine, and a god complex big enough to power a small country? Because in Frankenstein 2025, Guillermo del Toro finally said, let's stop pretending this is a horror film about a stitched-up dude with neck bolts, and instead gave us a full one-motional tragedy, dressed in velvet, drenched in blood lit like a gothic Pinterest board, and told through the eyes of a monster who just wanted to be hugged. This is not the Frankenstein, you know. This is his Frankenstein 2025. Let's get into it. Properly this time. Del Toro's been wanting to make this movie for 20 years. That's not commitment. That's borderline spiritual possession. This wasn't just a project. It was his cinematic soulmate, his white whale. Except instead of a whale, it's a rotting corpse, a stitched-up creature, and a man screaming Victor into the night. And you can feel that obsession in every frame, from the set design, to the score, to the monster's eye twitches. This is Del Toro's blood-soaked love letter to Mary Shelley's original novel. But also, somehow, to everyone who's ever been abandoned by the person who was supposed to love them most. Let's talk about the plot, because there is a lot to unpack, and most of it is covered in stitched-up flesh and guilt. We meet Victor Frankenstein, played by Oscar Isaac. And right away, you know this man is not okay. He's brilliant, yes, but also cold, unstable, kind of a psychopath in a waistcoat. He was raised by Charles Dance, who brings his usual disappointed tyrant with dead eyes, energy, and trust me, Victor got deeply emotionally ruined by this man. We're talking daily anatomy quizzes at age 6 and the kind of parenting style that should have been reported to the nearest cathedral. Victor's mother, also played by Mia Goth. And if you're wondering, wait, isn't she also his love interest later? Yes, correct. Welcome to the Del Toro cinematic universe, where Freud would be screaming into a pillow right now. So Victor grows up, becomes a top-tier medical genius, goes to the Royal College of Medicine, where everyone hates him because he's smarter than them. And also because he carries himself like a Victorian Elon Musk with a god complex. One day, Victor decides, enough is enough. Time to build a person from corpses. As you do. He gets funding from a rich, creepy guy named Hinrich Harlander, played by Christoph Waltz, who is a weapons dealer, a syphilitic dying aristocrat, and a walking metaphor for what if capitalism tried to live forever by transferring its brain into your body? Victor's motivation? He wants to conquer death, bring his dead mum back, play God, avoid the rapey a la Tunce, so he starts collecting body parts like he's shopping for the worst, Build-A-Bear in history limbs from battlefields, brains from charnel houses, and torsos from wherever you get a fresh show in 1800s Europe. All of it stitched together in a Gothic mansion with more lightning than a Thor's quill. And then the moment arrives, he hits the switch. The sparks fly. The room shakes, and the creature opens its eyes, barely able to speak. He looks around, sees Victor, and whispers, Victor, like a newborn calling out to his parent, like a soul recognizing the only person it's ever known. And what does Victor do? He runs. Classic. Man builds a sentient life form and ghosts it like a bad Tinder date. The creature, confused and terrified, gets chained up in the sewer, because that's the kind of parenting. Victor learned from Charles Dance. Let's talk Jacob Elordi. This man is the creature, but he's not a zombie. He's not a monster. He's not even scary half the time. He's tragic. He moves like his bones are arguing with each other, like he's not used to being one person yet. Because, well, he's made from several. He stumbles. He trembles. He looks at the world with this wide-eyed confusion, like a kid who was born yesterday. Because he basically was. And Elordi nails it, from the posture, to the breathing, to the subtle way he moves his head like he's listening to memories he doesn't understand. It's not just acting, it's haunted art. But back to Victor. He keeps trying to be a good father, but every time the creature fails to learn quickly enough, he lashes out, verbally, physically, emotionally, until he snaps and tries to destroy what he created. You see where this is going? Victor becomes his father, the same cold, cruel man who raised him. The cycle continues. Because of course it does. Because this isn't a horror, this is generational trauma with lightning bolts. Meanwhile, Mia Goth's character, Elizabeth, sees the creature, really sees him. She doesn't scream, she doesn't run. She looks into his eyes and sees pain and says, so there's pain in him, she says. And in that moment, you realize she's the only human in the entire film who treats the creature like a person. Not a monster, not an experiment, not a mistake, a person. It's heartbreaking and beautiful, and weirdly wholesome for a movie that also features someone getting their jaw ripped off. Let's talk gore for a second. This film does not hold back. There are dismemberments, explosions, burned corpses, a frozen horse mid-gallop on a battlefield, and blood on walls, on floors, on snow, on Oscar Isaac's soul. But it's never just shock value. Every drop of blood means something. Every violent, actus-rooted in grief, rage, rejection, regret. Del Toro's gore the way other directors use dialogue. It's not decoration, it's narrative. Eventually, the creature escapes, lives in the forest, watches a family from afar, tries to learn language, tries to help, tries to be good, but no matter how can people see him and scream and attack and drive him away. Because the world doesn't care if you have a soul. If you look like a monster, you'll be treated like one. Sound familiar? Now fast forward. Victor's life collapses. His experiments are exposed. His funding dries up. His loved ones die. Everything falls apart. And the creature? He still wants one thing, love. Just someone like him, someone to share his pain with. He asks Victor to build him a companion. And Victor says no after everything. He still refuses to give the creature peace. So the creature fights back. And in the process, Victor's bride-to-be is killed by his own hands, by his rage, by his failure. Because that's what happens when you play God and refuse to take responsibility. And then the ending, the Arctic, the ship, the storm. Victor is dying. The creature finds him again. And this time, he doesn't hurt him. He kneels, he cries, and he forgives him. Let me say that again. The monster forgives the man who created him, who abandoned him, who tried to destroy him, because he's not a monster. He's the most human character in the entire film. He ends the cycle. He chooses peace. And the final image, the creature alone, watching the sun rise over a frozen wasteland, tears in his eyes, finally free. You thought this was just another Netflix horror drop? It's not. It's a slow burn tragedy about fathers and sons, about forgiveness, about the violence we inherit, and whether we have to pass it on. Frankenstein 2025 is not a remake. It's a reckoning. It's the story Mary Shelley actually wrote, but told with prosthetics, poetry, and pain. And if you come out of it feeling wrecked, good. You were supposed to FAQs. Is Frankenstein 2025 on Netflix in English? Yes, all dialogue, all drama, all emotional gut punches in English. Who plays Frankenstein's creature? Jacob Elordi. And yes, he absolutely bodied it, in every sense. Why does Victor keep drinking milk? Symbolism, control, innocence, and probably lactose tolerance flex. Where was Frankenstein 2025 filmed? Europe. Gothic castles, freezing landscapes, and somewhere between your nightmares and Del Toro's dreams. Is the movie faithful to the book? More than most. But it's still a Del Toro film, so expect emotion, monsters, metaphors, and mourning.